Now, the SA Mathematics Foundation has a new problem solver. Professor Prof Moshokoa has been appointed as its new executive director. His appointment adds up with him being a respected academic and a long-serving maths champion. The foundation was established in 2004 and it aims to create an enabling maths environment. The good professor joins us live now in studio. Prof, good morning. Very good to have you with us, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Before
Thanks for being with me here. Yes.
You are most welcome, Professor.
Yeah.
Before we get into some of the details, I'd like to start with what this means to you, this appointment on a personal level. One of my colleagues was just telling me that your name actually means learner as well. So this is very, very profound that you've managed to rise to this level.
Thank you very much. Yes, the name Tuti was given to me by my father, who was a teacher at a farm school. At the time, I think he was writing a book. The title of the book was Tuti and Mathematics, Tuti le Palo. So he was actually the person who put me in this kind of pressure to perform the way I am. But I think personally, the appointment of this position for me, I'm a professor of mathematics in the subject content, not necessarily how you teach the content. But the way the subject is taught, I've been passionate about that, and it is part of my community outreach and community engagement.
Well, your father prophesied it, but you lived up to the expectation.
I had to, yes.
You absolutely had to.
Yeah.
Professor, what are some of your top priorities as you step into this position?
I think one of the top priority that, which is based on the review that, the foundation has gone through, was to look at increased participation, most probably in the competitions. We also run competitions in mathematical sciences, which are not aimed at training students to write tests for passing or examinations. This is something that is beyond the curriculum, indicating to them, the beauty of the subject, but of course, still looking at creative and problem-solving and analytical skills. So that is basically what the foundation is actually looking at here.
Professor, maths is a very big part of our future. Why is it so important that we get this right, that we make sure that our teachers are empowered so that our pupils receive the best education in maths? What does this mean for the future of our country?
I think, for one, let me acknowledge that there are lots of projects that are busy looking at the challenge that we are facing in terms of the teaching of the subject, but that we see that sometimes we lose it because we want to emphasize exams, for students. And now, when you go to real life situations, when you are faced with problems, it's not about examinations now. You have to ensure that you can save lives. So it's beyond. So the subject maths critically provides analytical skills, problem-solving skills, which are key in almost every career that students should go through. Yeah. But for that to happen, there should be some kind of an advocacy, an awareness that the subject is beyond just passing the test and examinations. And that's where the South African Mathematical Foundation comes in, to even put in, although we have got challenges in terms of the teaching itself, but we also have to look at beyond the tests as well as examinations. And
then another thing that you are very passionate about, Professor, is of course tackling that gap in learner support as well, especially in under-resourced schools. What's your plan there?
Yes. Okay, I think you asked me about the plans, and I mentioned increased participation. And of course, it is well known that there are certain communities previously who were not participating actively in the subject mathematics. And once you increase participation, it means more resources and more support. Yeah. Because you don't just want numbers of people participating in mathematical without providing support for them for success. So one of the main plans is to increase participation, at the same time look at what kind of support systems can we put for these individual students, especially at certain areas where more support will be required.
And then how do we attract more young people into maths? What's your plan there to make sure that it's not the subject matter that seems too big for our minds to comprehend? I see you sitting with a paper in your hand. I hope that's not some problems you want me to solve. Because, you know, some of it feels like it's beyond us. How do we attract the younger minds to maths?
Okay, yes. What I have in here is not your classwork.
Thank God.
Yes. So, but I think to encourage students in the subject itself is the idea of advocacy. Yeah. Where it is clear that this subject has got beauty. It also provides problem-solving skills as well as creativity, which can be utilized in almost every career, as I've mentioned. That advocacy is very much critical because putting on numbers without going beyond classrooms, it doesn't help students because they rush, and some of those things are not a quick fix. They need time to go through that. Yes.
Well, Professor, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Best of luck with the very big task that you have. I look forward to have another conversation with you in a while to see what progress we've made and how you solve the problems that we have in this area. That was, of course, Professor Moshokoa joining us live here on ENCA. I'll have your headline.